Everyone, welcome back to another amazing episode of the Black Girl Encourage Her. Yes, yes, yes. I am your host, Sheniqua Inspires, and I say welcome to you. Now, you all know we have kicked off the month of May, and we are doing it right for Nurses Month, and we are highlighting some super bad nurse bosses. So, today I got another gem that I want to bring to the stage and introduce you all to. So, without further ado, let's bring her up. Come on to the stage, Dr. Valerie. Hey, girl. Hey.
Hey, girl. Hey. Thank you for having me.
You are so welcome. Listen, Dr. Valerie, I don't know I know like a piece about you. Please introduce yourself to us all.
Well, my name is Valerie Foresyth, and I've been a nurse for over 25 years. I recently completed my master's degree for family nurse practice, also received my doctorate of nurse practice. So now I am ready to segue right into that arena.
I love it. I love it. And I always laugh like when we ask that question or when people tell like how long they've been a nurse. I feel like after the 10-year mark, it's like, okay, like I've been a nurse for a really, really long time. And
Right.
you're like into myself, like with the 20 plus years. And it has definitely been an amazing journey for myself. So tell us some of the different areas of nursing that you've dabbled in.
Absolutely. I wanted to go through all layers of nursing. So I actually started as a home health nurse.
Oh,
And
okay.
so I did the home health aide. And after that, I went to become a CNA.
Hmm.
So after I did that, I went on to health unit coordinator, also phlebotomy. And then I segued into the licensed practical nurse arena.
Okay.
After that, I went in for registered nursing as well. And then the bachelor's of nursing, and then the master's, and now the doctorate. So I
Okay.
went through all levels of nursing, all pathways.
Good, good, good. So you basically hit every level. Now, one of the questions that I used to work with a lot of nursing students. I used to work with a lot of home health aides, and one of the questions that they would ask me is it necessary to take it in those steps, like to go from one to the other to the other? So the question I would get asked by home health aides, they would ask for my advice to say, well, which should I go for? What should I go for next? Should I just go into an LPN program? Should I do a BSN program? Should I do a RN associate degree program? So if someone was to come to you for that type of advice, what would you say would probably now, and think about it, not necessarily by the steps that you've taken, but from what you know now? What advice would you give to someone who was inquiring what their next steps should be?
First, I will have them tell me a little bit about their passion.
Mhm.
Passion speaks volume. If they do have the passion and the heart for nursing, I would encourage them to go into registered nursing first with
Mhm.
the passion, because you have to have the compassion, and then segue right into bachelor's or the graduate with nurse practitioner.
Program, yeah.
For me, I want it to be relatable.
Hmm. Yeah, yeah. Because you literally have walked in every and every you worn every hat, so you definitely are doing the darn thing in the healthcare space. And so what is it that you currently do now as a nurse?
Currently, as of October 2024, I decided that I didn't want to be back into that arena as far as director of nursing. I was a
Hmm.
director of nursing for skilled nursing facilities for the past 17 years.
Wow.
I recently stopped doing director of nursing and started doing travel assignments.
Okay.
So, not being fine tuned to one facility, I was
Hmm.
able to do the travel assignments and do interim director of nursing positions. And that was really, really nice. I
Okay.
was able to go in for maybe 30 days and just go in and see the different clinical systems, see how they are, see what they need. And that was in doing that, they were actually getting prepared to hire a director of nursing. So I would
Okay.
be a part of the recruiting efforts as well to get a director of nursing in the facility. Sometimes it's 30 days, sometimes a little bit longer. It just depends on where I wanted to go and what did I want to do as far as being the interim director of nursing.
Okay.
So now that I have that under my belt, I'm actually an independent consultant now. So I'm an independent clinical consultant, and I partner with different corporations and companies regarding going in and help them troubleshoot from a regulatory standpoint.
Nice. Nice, nice. So you're still in your leadership role. You're just doing it now on your own terms, so to speak.
Absolutely, absolutely.
I love it. And that's one of the things about the nursing profession that I absolutely love. Once upon a time, it was the money. Everybody says, "Oh, go be a nurse. You can make money." We had Dr. Rashan on here, and she kind of dispelled that myth and was like, "No, not every nurse is getting paid, the buku bucks." But there are many, especially here in the city where I'm at in New York City. The nurses have definitely been able to secure a nice salary, although it's not enough for what they endure, but they definitely have ranked higher on the scale as far as compensation. But one of the best things that I've learned from the nursing profession is the flexibility that you can do hospital, you can do home care, you can do education, you can do travel, like you can do so much. And so I love that being that independent contractor where you get to say yay or nay as to the assignment that is given to you or the tasks that are you're signing up to contract with. So what's been your experience in that area?
That experience has been really, really good.
Mm-hmm.
Every time I complete an assignment, of course, they want me to stay to be the permanent director of nursing, but
Uh-huh.
that's not my goal anymore.
Yeah.
Director of nursing has been my passion for a very long time,
Yeah.
and it's still my passion. I still love it. However, I want to go in and troubleshoot, right? I
Mm-hmm.
want to go in and troubleshoot and help with the recruiting efforts as well,
Yeah.
because you know as well as I know, staffing is totally different now. It's
Yeah.
hard. It's a hardship for the nursing administration team that's in these long-term care facilities. So I
Mm-hmm.
would go in and help out with that as well. And I feel like once I've done my due diligence, it's time for me to go to another facility. And
Yeah.
that's been the beauty of me being an independent nurse consultant. I'm
Yeah.
able to go in right into another assignment and or stay home for a month or two and
Mm-hmm.
enjoy my family.
Yeah.
So it's been beautiful. I love it. I'll continue to do it as long as I'm able to do it.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's been pretty nice.
Good, good. So you've been a registered nurse, like into myself, for 20 plus years. Let's be real. Let's just be real quick. Just let's just for a moment, let's just have a moment of realness. Knowing what you know now, and especially as a director, you have that skill set, so you're able to see things at a higher level. You're able to see the structure, not just what's happening on the day to day, kind of like the bedside, but now your vantage point, your view is larger because you're seeing things as systems and structures and things of that nature. Knowing what you know now, if you well let's use this, let's use it like this so we don't offend anyone depending on how you answer. If you had to do it all over again, meaning from the start, from the beginning, not from where you're at, but from the very, very beginning, what you know now, 25 years in the game, would you still choose nursing, knowing how it operates now?
Absolutely. I would choose it over and over and over again.
Nice. Now, why is that?
I feel that, well, I know I have a heart for nursing. I have a heart for people. I love
Mhm.
people. I feel now in my position now, I can go out and be a vessel for
Yeah.
those different nurses. I can preach. Nursing is a true ministry for me.
Mhm. Mhm.
So by me ministering the word of nursing, I connect with a lot of people that want to be connected.
Yeah.
For sure that some people really don't need to be in nursing. They need to be doing
Yes.
something else,
Yeah.
whether it's working into a factory or
Yeah.
whatever. Some people really don't need to be in nursing. But I'm a
Mm-hmm.
firm believer that most people that sign up for this call of duty, they
Mm-hmm.
want to do it because of their heart and their passion.
Yeah.
It's a small percentage that really don't want it. They're in it for the money.
Yeah.
And when you're in it for the money, you're still not fulfilling your purpose,
No.
and your goals and your dreams. So I feel that I can relate to any level of nursing professional and help them pull it back in. Where did
Yes.
that passion go? Right? Because we have the passion. A lot of people had the passion. They had the compassion for people and taking care of people
Yeah.
because we nurse people back to health.
Yeah.
That's what we do. But it's unfortunate now that with everything that's going on in the nursing world,
Mm-hmm.
it was short staffed before COVID.
Mm-hmm.
But when the pandemic hit, it got worse. We
Yeah.
had nurses that were retiring because they were of the age, but they said, I can do a little bit more. Let me
Mm-hmm.
work 4 or 5 more years. But when COVID hit, they decided it's time to go out now. So we
Yeah.
lost a lot of good nurses, and that staffing deficit got worse. So the
Yeah.
ones that are in nursing now, that have the passion and compassion, I feel that I can tap into them and pour myself into them and bring it back
Yeah.
because we all get tired. It's
Yeah.
frustrating to know that people just don't care.
Mm-hmm.
They used to care, but now nobody else cares in this arena, and it
Yeah.
brings them down. So
Yeah.
when I'm in the facility, I'm the same way every single day. I'm
Yeah.
very happy. Good morning, how are you? And they love that. They gravitate to that. So I know that's my passion, and my goal is to reach others that are
Yeah.
in this call of duty to take care of patients,
Mm-hmm.
to provide and to serve the communities that we live in and all the surrounding areas. So I absolutely love every part of nursing.
I love that. And now you mentioned something that I found to be very, very key because the burnout is real, right? The burnout is real. And truth be told, I haven't been bedside in quite some time. But I've always kept kind of like my ear to the street, as an educator, training, new nurses, nursing students as they're coming up in the fields. And nursing is different.
It's
It's
different.
different than it was when I started 20 some odd years ago. It's different. And we know that's the way of the world. The world changes, it shifts, and things, they evolve. They take a few steps forward, they go a few steps back. Like it's an evolution of the profession, and it is much different now. And what I'm seeing a lot of is burnout. So a lot of the nurses, they're getting in, they're getting a good amount of years, a good amount of experience, and then they're going on to do something else, something a little, I wouldn't say light work, but they move into different positions where they can get comfortable, and they can have more authority over what it is that they do. But I loved what you said about lighting that fire that you are pouring, and that is what we need in leadership. Okay, that is what we need in leadership. Leaders who are going to pour into other people, not leaders that are going to dictate and say, do this, do that, do this, do that, but leaders who are going to exhibit the qualities that people then therefore want to follow. So, what would you say about, how you personally support nurses in that burnout because they're literally burning out a lot sooner than later?
They are. And to be honest, nurses and CNAs, anybody in the
Mhm.
healthcare field, we
Yeah.
have these different agencies now that they can work for and they can get daily pay. So
Hmm.
they call off in their full-time job because the agencies actually call
Ooh.
them to pick up. So they'll call off and they'll go to the agency to work, and they'll still
Smart.
get their PTO because they called off sick. And I wanted
Smart.
to find out what is going on. Why are we
Yeah.
having all of these call offs?
Yeah.
And if a person say they
Wow.
call off for A, B, C, and D, I believe them. That's them.
Yeah.
They have to hold their hands to the fire and do,
Yeah.
the proper tardy and attendance protocol. I feel you have to do that. So I wanted to know what was going on. I had to
Yeah.
peel that banana back and find out what is going on. And the staff, they were telling me, we don't get treated
Nice.
right. They don't
Nice. Yeah.
appreciate us. And I can work
That's
for the
good.
agency and get more. So when they
Yep. And be
find out
respected. Yep.
they can do that, I was like, it's whatever's economical for their household, right?
Yeah.
Because we are in challenging times from a physical,
Mm-hmm.
mental, financial standpoint. It's a hardship. Right now, it's a hardship. So I don't talk down on them for doing that. I just have to figure
Mm-hmm.
out different mechanisms to get them to want to come to work, right? To
That's right.
want to come to work. And then
Yeah.
I pour into them and I say, you
Yeah.
know what? Thank you so much for coming to work today. I know you called off sick today, but I knew they were
Mm-hmm.
down the street because they talk about it, right? I knew you
Mm-hmm.
called off
Mm-hmm.
sick yesterday. Hopefully, you're doing fine today. And they
Yeah.
really like that because you're not
Yeah.
chastising them for calling off, but at
Right.
simultaneously, you're working your attendance and your tardy protocol as well, strictly to the handbook. And then when they feel
Mm-hmm.
that somebody care, that's all they want to know, that
That's it.
somebody care. And they'll
Yeah.
start coming to work more, right? And
Yeah.
they'll start, working on their days off at the agency if they want to make more money. But starting employee engagement programs,
Mm-hmm.
that's what we're liking. Of course, it's a part of the policy that we have that, but do we in fact have that? We don't
Right.
have those things rolled out.
And you should. Yeah.
So I roll those things out, right? And
Mm.
my most verbal staff members, the one that are the most verbal, the meanest, I put them in charge of that, right?
Yeah.
Because they feel like they want to be in charge of something. I put them in
Mm.
charge, okay, I need somebody in charge of the employee engagement program. And then that gets them the buy-in. So they have the
Yeah.
buy-in. And then they say, yes, we want to be working for a winning team. We want to be
Yeah.
doing that. We want to shine. We want to be the best facility, in our city, in our county.
Yeah.
And you just
Yeah.
start have them thinking like you to stay
Yeah.
patient focused. Like patient focus is everything. Those high quality outcomes are everything. The family concerns, we want to nip it in the bud in a timely manner. So you get a
Yeah.
team that you can pour in and just exercise their talent, whatever it
That
is,
wants to do it, right?
that
Yeah.
wants to
Yeah.
do it, and
Mm-hmm.
then you'll see those fundamental changes. You'll see
I
that
love
your
it.
stars will start raising. They'll start going up. You
Yeah.
go from 1 star to 2 star, and you get to the 4 stars and the 5 stars. And all of a
Yeah.
sudden you are a 5 star facility and everybody's happy.
Yeah. Yeah. I love that. And I really hope that this message gets to leadership, right? Because whether you're in hospital settings, short-term nursing facilities, long-term care, like whatever, even not if it's not in healthcare, this is the words of a leader, right? And she's giving you the play-by-play. She's giving you the secrets to the success of how to encourage your employees, how to retain your employees, how to, tap into their different skill sets, because I can attest to that. When you work in a place, especially for a number of years, and you feel as though you're hiding from your gifts, you're hiding from your passions, you're hiding from your calling, you're just there to work to get a paycheck. Because I've done that. I've worked in positions, they didn't know nothing about me. I mean, they knew I had kids, but they didn't know about my purpose. Many places that I've worked, they didn't know that I was an author. They don't know that I'm a speaker. The last position I left, they didn't know that I was an international speaker. Like I was
Right.
hiding myself from this place. And it's like when an administrative, the leadership can tap into your skill set, like, oh, you like to write. Well, would you be willing to do this? Would you be willing to do that? Like now you get them engaged, and you feel people now start to feel like they're a part of something, and they don't have to choose. They don't have to choose between their purpose, their calling, or this job. They can learn to nurture every area, every aspect of their lives. And that's what gets people to stay. When they're in a position where leadership is tapping into that and encouraging that and lighting a fire, then you don't burn out. You want to come to work because, like you said, you feel like you're a part of something greater. And that's one of the innate needs. Yes, we need food, water, shelter, and clothing. But I think that feeling seen and heard is also a substantial part of that as well. So I thank you for sharing that. And again, I hope that we've got some people in leadership. And if your leadership's not on the line, y'all go ahead and send this message to them. Just be like, oops, I meant to send it to somebody else, but let them watch it anyway so that they can get this information, because it's like an inside scoop on how to foster healthy, happy employees. Now, of course, you are here because we have a friend, a mutual friend, Dr. Tammy Lewis, and we have been
Yes.
highlighting and featuring some of the amazing authors in the collaborative book project, Act Like a Nurse, Think Like a Boss. Shout out to Dr. Tammy Lewis for this amazing book collaboration. If you all have been watching this series thus far, you have been getting some heavy hitters, and they have really made us love nurses because they've opened our eyes to that there's more out there than just one thing that we think of when we think of nurses. So Dr. Valerie, please share with us what your title is about. Like, give us a little inside scoop on what we could expect to read from your chapter in the Act Like a Nurse, Think Like a Boss collaborative book project.
Okay, so I've been going a little back and forth on what the true title is going to be, but I can tell you some of the things that I'm going to be discussing in this chapter. I came from the projects, right? I grew up in the projects, and honestly, I thought we was the richest one in the projects. We never wanted for anything. We never wanted for anything. Single mom taking care of 5 kids, and she did a magnificent job.
What
She
city did you
always
grow up
says,
in?
sorry.
What city did you grow up in?
Oh, Lake Wales, Florida.
Okay.
Lake Wales, Florida. And she always said, I want you to go, all my kids to go higher than I did. I want you to go as high as you want to go. So with that being said, I always had that in the back of my mind, right? I was a teenage mom, but I'm so blessed that I'm still with my husband today. We've been together
Right.
40 years. So I was a
Wow.
teenage mom. I just wanted to let those young girls know, those young ladies know that you can do it. You can do it no matter what your background is, no matter if you had a kid when you were a teenager, you may be, older now, you can do anything that you wanted to do. Just strive. You just have to strive. So I know a couple people motivated me that's in the nursing field when I was a CNA. And this one particular assistant director of nursing, I love her. And she's going to be in the book. I'm talking about her in the book as well. She had that, she led not by fear, she led by an example. She was the kind of assistant director of nursing that I always wanted to be like. She was my role model in the nursing field. So I used to tell her all the time, I'm going to grow up to be just like you. And I did. I really did. I wound up being the assistant director of nursing there. But at that time, we had some, in nursing managers, nursing administration, sometimes you still, you experience some of that. I could just say, you experience some things that should have been resolved back in the days, right? So I can remember me being the only African-American nursing administration in a conference room, right? And we were in the conference room and, we were doing our daily functions, what we do to go through the systems. And it was some employees, some staff that were in the front of the conference room, not knowing we were in there because the doors were closed. And they were a bit loud. I can say they were loud. And one of the leaders of the operational standpoint said, who's out there making all that noise? They're acting like they're from the projects. Now, mind you, I'm from the projects. I am a product of the projects, and I am proud. I would do it all over again. So I had to say something at that time. I was like, from the projects? I was like, I'm from the projects. And know what he said to me? Yeah, but you're different.
Mm,
You're not like
mm,
them. That
mm.
did not sit well with me
Yeah. Mm,
at all, because it didn't. I said, you know what? At that time, it was time for me to go. It was
mm-hmm.
time for me to go and, go somewhere else, because I really felt this little for my
Mm-hmm.
people that were out there making the noise.
Mm-hmm.
So at that point on, I knew I had to be a vessel for others.
Yeah.
I knew I had to go out there and pour into others and just say, you can be anything that you want to be. And I haven't stopped since.
I
I
love
haven't
it.
stopped since. So I wind up putting my notice in, and they gave me a big raise prior to that.
Mm-hmm.
You how emotions just happen sometimes. I
Mm-hmm.
remember being the employee of the month, just getting the employee of the month, got the big speech about being an employee of the month, how they appreciate me so much. And I just was offered this big raise. Now, this was right after this happened, maybe about a week after that happened.
Wow.
But mentally, I had already checked out when it came to that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So, gave me this big raise, and money doesn't move me, not like that.
Okay.
It's nice to have.
Yeah.
However, I put my notice in, I think, the very next day.
Wow. Wow.
And this person said, well, you were gonna leave anyway, huh? He said, no wonder you was emotionless when we told you about the raise. But in the
Hmm.
back of my mind, no, those are my people.
Yeah.
I knew I had to go. And
Wow.
I did just that. And I've been on that pathway, that trajectory to ensuring that nobody's left behind since that day. And I haven't stopped.
I love that. And the fact that you had this, and I'm going to use the term loosely, role model, right? Because people have like a stigma about that term role model, but you had this example, right? You had this example and this assistant director that you latched on to say, yeah, I want to be like you when I grow up. And if that means having to turn down promotions and raises and such to stand on your principles, then that is what you sometimes have to do, right? So I love that, and I look forward to reading what it is that you're gonna put together for us, and what it sounds like is the importance of having an example, right? For those
Absolutely.
young girls to be able to look and to see like representation matters, right? To be able to see. And that's one of the reasons I used to love as my role as a college professor, because I worked in a college where you didn't see many nurses that looked like myself. When I was there because it was my alma mater, when I was there as a student, I don't even believe there was any. And if there was probably like one. So I didn't grow up. I wasn't groomed in that. I saw other nationalities, but I stayed focused. To God be the glory. I stayed focused. But when I became a college professor, it meant something to me because I wanted them to see a representation of them and of themselves. And yep, I'd come in rocking the wigs, the braids, like the twists, like they would be like, oh, okay, professor, I see you. Yeah, check me out. Because
Absolutely.
this is what you can be. You don't have to become a product of your environment, a product of your situation. So I love that. I love the fact that Dr. Tammy Lewis has put together this collaborative book process to nurture the future, right? Because that's what it's about. It's about nurturing the future. And so she does have that Nurse Force Summit. Will you be in attendance at the Nurse Force Summit this year?
I will be there this year. Absolutely.
Yes.
I am so excited.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. So we will definitely get a chance to connect in person. You all, if y'all want to meet Dr. Valerie and see what else she got going on, you can definitely get your tickets and be in the room, because it is not just for nurses. And I always want to make sure I preface that. It's not a conference just for nurses. Even though it's called Nurse Boss Summit, it is about that leadership. It's about that leadership role, whether it's entrepreneurship and just the mix of people, is just an awesome time. And so I look forward to being in the room. I look forward to connecting with you. But Dr. Valerie, before we go, I do want to talk about some other stuff that you've gotten yourself into lately. So we know you're an independent consultant. You're doing all that great work in the leadership realm, but you also have just started a passion project, right? And have opened it, or in the process of opening up your wellness center. So please tell us a little snippet about Perfectly Fit Health and Wellness Center.
Sure, sure. My goal has always been total wellness,
Yeah.
complete mind, body, and soul.
Yeah.
So I get up every morning about 4 o'clock and I meditate, and
Mm-hmm.
that's when I can hear things a little bit more clearly. So it came to me, and it just made sense that Perfectly Fit Health and Wellness Center.
Mm-hmm.
So in that center, we're going to have, of course, I'll be doing weight loss. Also, I'm very,
Mm.
very passionate about mental health and substance
Yes.
abuse. So I'll have my office there doing weight loss, mental health, and substance abuse. I've
Nice.
also partnered with some other professionals in my city. And
Mm-hmm.
we're going to have someone doing Pilates in there.
Nice.
We're going to have a nutrition bar as well. So you can
Ooh,
get your smoothies and you can get your juices there as well. I'm
love
so
it.
excited about that.
Yeah.
And we're going to have a spa in there too.
Nice.
So it's
Nice.
going to come together.
I love that. I love that. You see, everybody, like we are truly bosses. Like
We are
we
bosses.
are not just sitting with our hands crossed. We are doing so many things. And truth be told, the reason why the very first Nurse Boss Summit, the reason why I went to that summit was because I wanted, well, for one, I was a speaker. So you can always get me in the room if you invite me as a speaker. But
Mhm.
I was really excited about it because I was at a place in my life where I knew there was more. And so I was just interested about being in a space where I can learn about the different aspects of what as a nurse means. And so if I had to give a piece of advice to anyone who is in the healthcare profession, any students that are watching, don't just look at nursing like teachers, doctors, police officers, firefighters. Like nurses have this a unique gifting. Not to say that the other professions don't. That's not what I'm saying. But we have this unique talent that we can branch off and do a number of things. Like
Yes.
Perfectly Fit Health and Wellness Center. Like, come on, somebody. Like she's
Yes.
opening up her own little nook for people to come and get that total wellness. Like, that is such an asset. That is such an asset because you don't see many of these locations depending on where you're at. But I know I don't see them in my neighborhood, right? I'm in New York City. You
Mhm.
have to go deep into the heart of like Manhattan sometimes, like, or they're very sporadic. So it is a beautiful asset to your community to bring this health and wellness center to really feed and nurture the community. And
Thank
that's
you.
from a nurse, right? That is from a nurse. I love it. I love it. Let me get your social media handles going. You all can connect with Dr. Valerie on Facebook. You can check her out on her business page, Perfectly Scarred, and also her personal page, Dr. Valerie Hawthorne Forsyth. Is that how you say it? Forsyth?
Forsyth. Mhm.
Forsyth.
Mhm.
You can check her out there. She's also on Instagram, right? We're going to pull her into the mix. We're going to get her doing a little bit more on Instagram. But we got underscore XO underscore nurse X underscore Val. So you all make certain that you are following her. And of course, those who are on my mailing list, you're going to get the click links. So you'll just be able to click and follow, and all is well. You don't have to worry about typing nothing in. You're just going to be able to click and connect. So you all make certain that you are in the spaces where you are connecting with individuals. You never know what value being connected with Dr. Valerie is going to do for you, for your children, for your community. Like, you just never know. So make certain you all connect with her. Dr. Valerie, before I let you go, you got any parting words of encouragement you'd like to leave with the audience?
Absolutely. I encourage each and every one of you to dig in your soul. Whatever pits your stomach, when you feel that in your stomach, that's probably your passion.
Mm.
Whatever it is, pull it out. Pull your passion out and explode, because we're unique. We're unique individuals. What your passion is your passion.
Mm.
Your truth is your truth. And
Yes.
sometimes we allow other people to mimic what we want to do, and it deflates us.
Mm-hmm.
So I encourage each and every one of you, just pour into yourself a little bit more. We're givers. We keep giving and giving, but we have to pour in our cup first, and we have to give back to ourselves so we can find exactly what our purpose is in life. And then we activate that plan, and
Yes.
everything will fall in place. Everything will fall in place.
I love it. I love it. I don't know about you all, but I'm encouraged. I'm encouraged. And truth be told, it doesn't matter what stage you are in your plight to purpose, those words still ring true. So no matter which area you're in, it still ring true. Because sometimes, your purpose, you lose sight of it, and you need this type of reminder to get back on it and to get it done. Dr. Valerie, it was a pleasure. Please hang out for just a second. Let me give the people their marching orders. That was such a good conversation. I hope that you all enjoyed that. Look, there are leaders that are leading in love. I'm telling you, they're not all out here barking orders and everything. There are the remnant out here. There are those examples like Dr. Valerie that is bringing that love. They're leading in love. And so only amazing things are going to happen from those types of leaders. So you all make certain that you hit the subscribe button. You leave us some love in the comments. You hit the like button. And you know what? You share this out. You share this with your leaders. You share this with your students. You share this with your community so they have these words of wisdom so that they too can be inspired and encouraged to press forward on purpose. So until next week, because you got to come back next week because we got another nurse force that will be in the house. So you all come back and keep sharing these words of encouragement with everyone that you know. Until then, you all be abundantly blessed. Take care.